everybody, and welcome back to another Pokemon Challenge video. Last time, we began our new Pokemon Challenge mini-series, where we go up through the regions, playing through as certain characters from the Pokemon anime. Today, we are doing something extra, headed back to the Galar region to become the champion once again. But this time, only using the 3 starter Pokemon from the ALOLAN region, Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio. As always, guys, I really hope you enjoy this video, and if you find yourself doing so at any point, don't forget to leave a like down below, maybe even consider leaving a comment, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell as well. And once you finish this video, if you want to see more right now, don't forget to check out the Pokemon Challenge playlist I've created of all the challenges I've done thus far. And shout out to these awesome people for leaving comments on recent Pokemon Challenge runs of mine. Thank you so much, guys. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. I love hearing from and interacting with you all, so tell me whatever you want down below. With that being said, let's jump into this run and see how difficult or how easy it would be to beat Pokemon Sword, only using the ALOLAN starter trio, without evolving them, on set, no Dynamax, and no items in battle. Let's jump right in and find out! Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio are the starter Pokemon from the 7th generation, introduced in Sun and Moon. With Pokemon Home being released, these Pokemon, along with many others, like Meltan, were allowed to be brought into Pokemon Sword and Shield. Obviously, being starter Pokemon, they are all pretty well-rounded. Litten's the fastest by far with 70 base speed, and Rowlet and Popplio are quite slow with only around 40 each. Other than that, their stats are pretty evenly spread. Popplio's obviously a special attacker more so than physical, but Rowlet and Litten can do either just fine. Where they really shine is their level up moves. All 3 of them have an outstanding move pool. Rowlet gets Shadow Sneak, Synthesis, Sucker Punch, Leaf Blade, Feather Dance. You can see where I'm going with this. They're insane. Litten gets Flare Blitz at level 36, which is just wicked. And if you don't want to risk that, how about Flamethrower only 6 levels earlier? And Popplio gets Icy Wind, Aqua Jet, and Disarming Voice, all before level 16, with Moonblast later down the line. I think we're not going to have any trouble when it comes to moves. So for this run, I will not be allowing the use of TRs. TMs are fine, but TRs have some pretty incredible moves you can get at any point in the game. We won't be using those in this run. And on top of that, we will not be allowing the use of DYNAMAX. This is the first time I'm doing this. DYNAMAX, I believe, in-game, is a completely balanced mechanic, especially in a challenge run, since you can only use it if your opponent does as well. However, since I have 3 Pokemon who are pretty capable, we won't be using it for this run. And as always, no items are allowed in battle, except held items and any kind of Pokeballs are also fair game. And I'm only allowed to use Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio in battle. No evolution is allowed. And because this is a team run, we will be playing on set the entire time. Really quick before we start, I do want to go ahead and mention that another Pokemon Challenge YouTuber made this video just a few days ago, going by the name of HZRC, or Harry. We just both happen to be working on this at the same time. I recommend checking his video out when you're done with this one to see the comparison between the 2 runs. They should be fairly different. He banned TMs, but used Dynamax on Shield, and I allowed TMs, but banned Dynamax on Sword. It's actually a pretty funny coincidence, since this exact same thing happened with us just a few weeks ago with the Team Yell Grunt video I did. We both were working on it at the same time as well, but I posted it first. Now this time it happened in reverse. With that being said, let's jump into this run and see how easy or how difficult it would be to beat Pokemon Sword, only using the ALOLAN starter trio with all the rules I just mentioned. I begin my adventure as a young girl named Amanda. Let's get this show started. Once I get to the Pokemon Center, I open my PC and find a freshly hatched Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio. Meet the team, Josh Peck, Drake Bell, and Megan. These 3 learn some pretty awesome moves early on. Megan's Disarming Voice destroys Team Yell at this stage, and Drake gets Bite for Bead. It is time for the first gym challenge of this adventure, the Grass-type Gym versus its leader, Milo. I want to try something different, so I lead with Drake and use the move Roar, bringing his ace Eldegoss out immediately. Never get to see that, do ya? He still Dynamaxes it, however, but it would have been pretty funny if that just broke the gym leaders. Drake is faster than Eldegoss and gets a burn with Ember as Eldegoss uses Max Overgrowth. But with two of my Pokemon being resistant to grass and super effective on it, Milo was a joke, with Drake and Josh handling his team with ease. There's the grass badge. 1 down, 7 more to go. Hop is a pretty big joke early on, but he does get quite challenging down the line. For now, it's time for our second gym challenge, the Water-type gym versus its leader, Nessa. Josh takes her lead Goldeen to red with Razor Leaf and finishes it off with a Shadow Sneak. One Razor Leaf takes out her Arrokuda, and one more Razor Leaf one-shots her Dynamax Dreadnought with a critical hit. But before you say, wow, lucky critical hit, you have won without it. Well, this was my second attempt. The first time Nessa critical hit me 3 times in a row. She wouldn't have won without it either, so we're even. There's the water badge. 2 down, 6 to go. Drake bites his way through Bead once again, and Hop once again proves how useless he is early game by leaving it all on Josh to beat Team Yell. But we managed to make our way back to Motostoke and run into Marnie for a battle. I lead with Drake, and Firefang flinches her Krogunk for an easy knockout. Double Kick beats Scraggy, but Morpeko takes Drake out soon after. But then Josh comes in and cleans it up, learning Leaf Blade in the process. One of my favorite moves of all time. What's yours? Leaf Blade and Signal Beam are probably tied for number 1 for me. It is time for our third gym challenge versus the Fire-type gym and its leader, Kabu. Of course, I lead with Megan against his Ninetales. He almost always goes for Will-O-Wisp, so I go for Encore. While holding the leftovers, it essentially negates the burn damage. And Megan is a special attacker, so with Ninetales being trapped into Will-O-Wisp, it's an easy knockout. Arcanine comes out and goes down to 2 hits from Bubble Beam, doing solid damage to Megan with Bite. This causes her to go down to max Flutterby from his ace, Gigantamax Centiskorch. I send Drake into battle, and since things are looking grim, I have him use Swagger. This is dangerous, since this Centiskorch does use physical moves, but Drake survives a G-Max Centiferno, and then the Citrus Berry I gave him saves his life from the Fire Spin. He hits through with Bite before going down, as Centiskorch hits through both times. But that wore out its Gigantamax, so I send in our final Pokemon, Josh, and it hurts itself, allowing for Josh to smash it with Pluck, and then Sucker Punch for the victory. There's the Fire Badge. 3 down, 5 more to go. In Hammerlock, I meet with a move tutor. He teaches the Elemental Pledge moves. When used together in a double battle, they have secondary effects. I don't know if this will actually be useful, but I've never really used them. Could be pretty fun for Rahan. In Stow Side, we grab the Rocky Helmet and face Hop once again. Josh now has to move Feather Dance. I use this to weaken Cramorant, and then set up with Nasty Plot, sweeping Hop with Grass Pledge. Megan also learned the move Moonblast. This is a huge step up from Disarming Voice, and helps us clear out the Stow Side gym trainers. It is time for our 4th gym challenge, versus the Fighting-type gym, and its leader, B. I lead with Megan against her Hitmontop, and use Moonblast. It goes for revenge, doing over half. The leftovers heals her up a bit, and she finishes it off with Moonblast. Pangoro comes out and uses Work Up, going down to 1 Moonblast. I take a risk against her Surfetched and use Encore, predicting it to use Detect. It didn't, and instead went for Revenge. Megan survives, however, and hits it with a Moonblast before going down. I send Josh into battle and take it out with Pluck, and then her ace, Gigantamax Machamp, comes out last. It uses Max Darkness, as I have Josh use Feather Dance. It then takes him out with a Max Strike, but with it now being weakened, I send Drake out and hit it with Flamethrower. Max Darkness does slightly less than half, as it shrinks back down. Flamethrower then takes it to half, as it uses Scary Face. This allows it to outspeed Drake, knocking off his Everstone and putting him into Blaze. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. And because our speed was lowered, it causes us to lose the fight. Just kidding! We were speed tied! Outspeeding and finishing Machamp off! First try, nice! There's the Fighting Badge. 4 down, only 4 more to go. Bead's no issue as usual, and we head north to Bloonlia Town. Here I obtain the Eviolite, and then we have our 5th gym challenge versus the Fairy-type gym and its leader, Opal. I lead with Drake against her Weezing. I taught him the TM move for Sunny Day. I use this to summon the sun, and Opal's first question doubles Drake's speed. I then have Drake use Flamethrower. It unfortunately wasn't enough, having Drake get hit by Sludge a second time and getting him poisoned. This is offset by the leftovers, but we won't gain any recovery to use Flare Blitz against her Togekiss. So I go for Swagger in an attempt to keep Drake alive. But it hits through and takes Drake down with Ancient Power. I then send Megan in, and Opal immediately asks another question. This doubles both of her defenses, and since she is the one holding onto the Eviolite, Togekiss hardly does anything to her, and she eventually takes Togekiss out with Icy Wind and Water Pledge. Her Mawile comes out next, and after another question, it doubles Megan's attacking stats, allowing for Water Pledge to one-shot Mawile. And then her ace, her Gigantamax Alchemy, comes out. But even with being hit by G-Max Finale, Megan is able to sustain herself long enough to finish Alchemy off with Water Pledge. First try! There's the fairy badge! 5 down, 3 more to go. And this is the point of the game where Hop starts to get a lot more difficult. It took a few different tries and lead changes, but with all of Drake, Josh, and Megan's help, we were able to get by without too much trouble. And there isn't very much between there and Sir Chester, already being time for our 6th gym challenge versus the Rock-type gym and its leader, Gordy. He leads with a Shell-Smashing Barbaracle, so I lead with Josh and Leaf Blade it right on out of here. His Shuckle comes out next. It is pretty much useless, but can slow our Pokemon down with Rock Tomb, so I do some switching back and forth to make sure I take it out while our speed is normal. Next up is Stonejourner. It seems programmed to use Wonder Room most of the time, and with Josh Peck using a physical grass move and Leaf Blade, it drops it in a single shot, only leaving his ace, his Gigantamax Colossal left. It takes Josh out in a single shot, outspeeding him, so I send Drake in, and I take the risk and go for Swagger. It hits through and takes Drake out as well. Our only Pokemon left is Megan. Colossal thankfully hurts itself in confusion, and then again after it shrinks down to size, allowing for Megan to Water Pledge its life away. First try! There's the Rock Badge! 6 down, only 2 more to go. This Hop battle is one of the more difficult rival battles in any Pokemon challenge, in my opinion. This hail that is going on can really add up with no items. But luckily, our little Drake has Sunny Day, turning it off for a little while and allowing his Flamethrower to take Hop's lead double out in 2 shots. But Hop's ace Inteleon comes out next, taking Drake out after using a Tearful Look for some reason. It allowed Drake to get a Flare Blitz off for some damage at least. Josh then comes in and Leaf Blades Inteleon out, and his Corviknight comes out next. First I have Josh Feather Dance while it uses Scary Face, and then I switch for Megan. After a few turns, Megan takes it out with a Water Pledge, and his Pincurchin is up next. She gets a critical hit Water Pledge, taking it to red, but then it gets a critical hit Spark, taking her out. Josh then comes out, finishing Pincurchin off, only leaving his Snorlax left. I have Josh Feather Dance. Since he's holding onto the Rocky Helmet, I can make it do more damage to itself than to Josh. However, its Body Slam paralyzes him at the worst time, causing us to be outsped and having the match end in a draw. This still counts as a loss, unfortunately, but on the next attempt, it goes slightly better, and Josh hangs on with only 6 hit points remaining. We're not done with paralysis just yet, however, as we have another battle with Marnie. Megan takes out her lead Liepard with Moonblast, but then her Morpeko comes out and uses Spark. She takes Spark quite well, but gets paralyzed and cannot move for 2 straight turns. This happened 5 attempts in a row, but she manages to eventually hit through the paralysis, twice mind you, and take Morpeko out. And after that, Josh comes in, getting hit with Swagger, but thankfully luck was on our side this time, as he lands Brave Bird twice in a row to take Marnie out. And now it's time for her older brother in our 7th gym challenge versus the Dark-type gym and its leader, Piers. I once again lead with Megan against his Scrafty. It uses Fake Out, but afterwards she strikes it dead with a Moonblast. His Malamar then comes out next. I've never seen him not send Obstagoon out second, but okay. No matter, as she hits it twice with Moonblast, taking it out as well. Now his ace Obstagoon takes to the field. I assume it's going to use its signature move in Obstruct, so I have Megan ask for an encore. He is a musician after all. Obstagoon does use Obstruct, and then gets locked into it, but manages to get off multiple in a row, meaning Megan only hit it twice with Moonblast. Throat Chop takes her to red, so I switch into Josh and have it chop Josh's throat, taking itself out with the Rocky Helmet. Piers responds to this by saying, "I don't do encores, get it? Not songs, not moves, not Pokemon." Bruh, you literally just did an encore. And then together, Drake and Josh take out his Skuntank, finishing Piers off. First try. There's the Dark Badge. 7 down, only 1 more to go. I quickly head back inside for the choice specs and give them to Megan. I give her Eviolite to Josh, and then the leftovers stay on Drake. And then I make sure to reteach all of the pledge moves to all 3 of our Pokemon for our 8th and final gym challenge versus the Dragon-type gym and its leader, Rahan. Rahan's gym is in a double battle, so since we have a trio that can learn the elemental pledges, why not use them to our advantage for the first time in history? On our first attempt, I lead with Megan and Josh against Rahan's Flygon and Gigalith. Flygon's Thunder Punch takes Megan down really low with a critical hit, but then their pledges form as one, smashing Gigalith in a single shot, summoning a swamp on Rahan's side of the field. What are ye doing in my swamp? Well, being in my swamp quarters its Pokemon's speed, making us faster guaranteed. This allows us to form another swamp pledge attack, taking Sandaconda out in a single shot as well. Thunder Punch again from Flygon unfortunately takes Megan out, as his Gigantamax Duraludon comes out. I have Drake summon the sun to get rid of the Sandstorm, but in hindsight, this was a mistake. Josh then uses his turn for a Feather Dance on Duraludon, as Flygon hits both of us with Breaking Swipe. Max Rockfall from Duraludon summons the Sandstorm right back up, smashing Drake. In the end, I didn't play as optimally here as I could have, causing Drake and Josh to lose the fight here. It takes several more attempts, but things go much differently since the first attempt. For one, Flygon never used Thunder Punch again for some reason, and instead opts for Breaking Swipe. This is ideal, as we aren't using physical attacks, and the Swamp Pledge takes Flygon out in a single shot. Gigalith then uses Stealth Rock. That'll hurt Drake a lot, but it's good that it didn't attack. Sandaconda comes out next, and we take it out with another pledge attack, as Gigalith uses Body Press on Megan. She then uses a Water Pledge on Gigalith, but fails to take it out. This shocked me. I didn't have Josh attack, but instead used Feather Dance on Duraludon. Gigalith then takes Megan out with assistance from the Sandstorm, leaving it all on Drake and Josh once again. I have them use the Sea of Fire pledge on Duraludon, doing quite solid damage considering its Gigantamax. Gigalith takes Josh right out after, leaving it all on Drake. The Sea of Fire pledge does 1/8 of the opposing Pokemon's health every turn, but with the swamp gone, his Duraludon outspeeds, dropping another Max Rockfall on Drake. As to not be double targeted, Drake attacks Gigalith, taking it out. The Sandstorm disappears, and Duraludon shrinks back down. With it being -2 attack, I think we could take a hit, but we didn't need to. It missed Stone Edge, and Drake pledges to defeat Duraludon, finishing Rahan off. There's the Dragon Badge. That is all 8 badges of the Galar region in our possession. It is time to head to Winden for the semifinals. First up is Marnie. I lead with Megan and the choice specs. This allows her to one-shot her lead Liepard and her Morpeko after tanking a Spark, and then her Scrafty before getting taken to red by her Toxicroak. She did great damage to Toxicroak, so I switch for Drake and have him finish her off with a Fire Pledge. Her ace, her Gigantamax Grimmsnarl, is all that remains. Drake blasts it with a Flare Blitz, doing slightly less than half before it takes Drake out. Megan then comes out and gets taken out right away, leaving this all on Josh. Josh takes a G-Max Snooze, and then when it shrinks back down, finishes it off with Leaf Blade. For Hop, I return to the professor's house and grab the Choice Band, and then I level Drake up a bit, as he's the star for this fight. I lead with Drake and use Flare Blitz on his Double. This takes it out in a single shot, and his Snorlax then comes out. It's gonna use high horsepower, so I switch for Josh. This doesn't affect him, giving me a free switch in. Josh then takes Snorlax out after several turns, and Hop's Corviknight comes out next. I switch for Drake, and it goes for Scary Face on the switch in, hitting Drake with a Drill Peck before going down to Flare Blitz. This dealt enough damage for the recoil to take Drake down to only 10 hit points, as his Pincurchin comes out next. I decide this is Drake's end, as he takes Pincurchin out, and himself in the process. With Hop's final Pokemon being his ace and starter Inteleon, I send for Megan. She's able to soak up plenty of damage from the Dynamax Inteleon, and with the choice specs, deal quite a lot of damage to it with Moonblast. Dynamax Inteleon takes Megan to only 8 hit points remaining as it shrinks back down, but Hop's mistake was using that full restore, as one more Moonblast with a critical hit takes it out in a single shot. Next up, before the finals, is Oleana. She leads with her Frostlass, and I once again lead with Drake. It hits Drake fairly hard with a Hex, but one Flare Blitz wipes the floor with it, leaving Drake below half health. Next is Milotic. I switch for Megan, but this ended up being a mistake. I thought it would have an Ice-type attack for Josh, but it was able to out-recover the damage Megan was doing, so I switched for Josh regardless. He takes it out, but then immediately switches for Megan again, as her Salazzle comes out. Megan gets taken to Torrent, and blasts Salazzle away with Water Pledge. And next up is Serena. I switch for Josh to use Brave Bird, but it uses Acrobatics instead of the predicted Grass-type attack, taking Josh out. I send Drake out and get rid of it with a Flare Blitz. This recoil damage puts Drake into the range of Blaze, and because of that, he was able to one-shot her ace, Gigantamax Garbodor, in a single shot. Time for the finals! First up is Bede. I lead with Drake, and Flare Blitz one-shots Mawile, Gardevoir, and Rapidash. This puts Drake into Blaze, allowing for one massive hit on his ace, Gigantamax Tatooine, before going down to recoil. Then Josh comes in, and Brave Birds Bede away. Time for Nessa. Surprisingly, I lead with Drake. This is to outspeed her Golisopod and make it take an emergency exit. Then Barraskewda comes out and finishes Drake off. Megan then comes out and begins using Moonblast. This is able to take out Barraskewda, Seaking, and then Golisopod, and get one final blast on Pelipper before she gets taken out. This allows for Josh to come in against her ace, Gigantamax Dreadnought, surviving a Max Rockfall, and returning the hit with Leaf Blade, taking Nessa out. For B, I lead with Megan against her Hawlucha. It unfortunately gets a critical hit with High Jump Kick, taking her to red. But she then takes Hawlucha and Surfetched out in one shot each, going down to her Phalanx. Drake then comes in and hits it with a Flare Blitz, taking it and her Graplocked out, getting one final blast of Flare Blitz in on her ace, Gigantamax Machamp, allowing for Josh to come in and Brave Bird it away. The final match of the finals is against Rahan. I can't use the pledge moves here to great effect like last time, since it's a single battle. I go and get everybody leveled up to level 70, as I was struggling on this fight for quite a while. I just wasn't dealing enough damage to make it through the fight. Leading with Megan, I one-shot her Torkoal with Water Pledge and the choice specs, even through the sun, and then switch to Josh against his Goodra while he summons the rain. Brave Bird then takes it out in 2 hits, and then Josh hits Turtonator with Brave Bird while it summons the sun. And one more takes it out. One critical hit from Brave Bird smashes Flygon, taking Josh out with the recoil, allowing for Megan to come in and take it out with Moonblast while he heals. And with only his Gigantamax Duraludon left, Megan takes it out with only 2 hits from Moonblast, barely hanging on with only 8 hit points remaining. With only 2 battles remaining, Drake blazes through Chairman Rose's team, and we capture Eternatus, because we have to. And now, it is time for the final battle with Champion Leon. Do the 3 ALOLAN starter Pokemon in their base form have what it takes to overcome the unbeatable champion without the use of Dynamax or items? At their current level, probably not. Not without some pretty insane luck anyways. So I do more raids, getting them all to level 80. Drake is our lead and has the leftovers. Josh has the Eviolite, and Megan has the choice specs. Let's do this! Drake starts by using Flare Blitz on a King's Shielding Aegislash, but I can work around this with Protect by getting Aegislash to the point where it's in Blade form. We can one-shot it with Flare Blitz despite having our attack lowered. Next up is his Haxorus. This thing's a monster and caused me a lot of trouble over the many attempts that this took. The best way for us to handle it is for me to call Drake back for Josh. It uses Earthquake on Drake. This does not affect Josh, giving us a free switch. I then have Josh use Feather Dance 3 times in a row, lowering its attack to the minimum. Then Josh uses Rest, getting fully healed as Haxorus hammers him with Outrage, but it doesn't do much now. Josh hits a Sucker Punch as he wakes up, and then I switch for Megan. I taught her the TM for Draining Kiss. This will help her survive through Haxorus and Dragapult, taking them both out after several turns. Seismitoad comes out next, and I have her use Draining Kiss again to feel it out, but it goes for Toxic, badly poisoning her. We need her for Leon's final 2 Pokemon, so I call her back and send Josh out. Josh is immune to the Earthquake it uses, and he strikes it down with Leaf Blade. His Cinderace is next to battle, and I let Josh go down, landing 2 Sucker Punches in the process. Megan then comes out, finishing it with a Water Pledge as his final Pokemon, his ace, his pride and joy, Gigantamax Charizard comes out. I immediately switch for Drake. We need to stall its Gigantamax for Megan to stand a chance. It uses Max Overgrowth on Megan, but since I switched for Drake, it doesn't do too much to him. I then have Drake protect himself, letting him stall out the entirety of the Gigantamax, with Megan coming out as it shrinks back down. And with her surviving a Fire Blast from Charizard, she strikes back with Water Pledge, finishing Charizard and Leon's champion streak off. We just became the champions of the Galar region, using the 3 base forms of the ALOLAN starter trio without Dynamaxing, using TRs, or any items in battle on set. And we have won this game! This was one of my favorite challenge runs I've done thus far. I have always really adored Rowlet, but I never really got to use Popplio or Litten too much before this. So it was a lot of fun getting to check those 2 out, and their movesets are incredible, allowing for great coverage the entire game. And it was so awesome getting to put the combined pledge moves to use in a valid strategy. It's something I've never really gotten to do myself, and it was a lot of fun. Definitely a big highlight of this run for me. I upload a Pokemon Challenge video just like this one every single weekend on Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And maybe sometimes even other days too, just like this one. So don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell if you want to see more videos like this in the future. And of course, leaving a like and a nice comment down below before you leave here today also helps the channel out an absolute ton. And who knows, maybe I'll even feature your comment in another Pokemon Challenge video. Have you been watching a lot of Pokemon Challenge runs on YouTube lately and thinking to yourself, of course you can do it? Do you want to see one that was actually impossible to complete with the rules that I set out to do? You can find a link to my Pokemon XD Shadow Pokemon Only run over here and see for yourselves. Or if you just want to see all the Pokemon challenges that I have done so far to pick one out for yourselves, you can find a link to the playlist containing them all over here. With that being said, I really do hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I really hope I get to see you guys next time for another Pokemon Challenge video. Until then, hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching!